Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. Today I would like to tell you the brief story of why I converted to Islam. From when I was a kid and a child, so many things in Christianity did not make sense to me. I remember asking my Bible teacher at just 7 years old, why do we celebrate the birth of Jesus on December 25th? I learned when I said that it was scientifically proven that Jesus was not even born on Christmas. Another question. How is the Holy Trinity one person? And why was this Trinity created long after Jesus died? Why do we pray to Jesus and not God? I remember when I was about 14 years old, I figured out that, I shouldn't be praying to Jesus, so I stopped praying to Jesus at 14 years old, 15 years old, and I prayed to God. If we would say grace at supper, they would say Jesus. In my head and in my heart, I was saying God. I would place the word. Anyways, aside from this, I was really active in the church. I read the Bible, taught at vacation Bible school, sang at church. Several churches, actually, I used to get asked to sing at people's churches. I was also in a church youth group. I went to a church camp every summer from when I was about 4 years old. And then in high school, I started going to this church leadership program, which only a few certain people were selected from our church to go, and I was one of them. A few of us were selected because it was very expensive. And then I went to college. I started to meet many people from different cultures and international students, and many of my friends were Muslim. All the people on my floor, it was a women's only floor, because I'm very conservative, so I didn't want to be on a mixed floor. I was really worried about that. So a lot of the women on that floor were Muslim. But not all of them. Most of them, but not all of them. But they were very nice people. They were some of the sweet people I've ever met, the most generous. And it's just a reminder that when I came to college, I was so close-minded. I still think of it now. My dad just posted something degrading about Islam on his Facebook page, and it sucks to see that, and it hurts me. But I know that's exactly where I came from, and I probably used to think like that. So I was very close-minded when I went to college. So the people that I met, the Muslim friends that I met, they really opened my eyes to Islam. And not just Islam, but just to see that the world is so much bigger than just what you see in northern Wisconsin. There's more than hunting, there's more than fishing, So I decided to look into the religion of Islam by researching the similarities between Judaism and Christianity and Islam. I realized there was a lot of the same prophets. There's a lot of the same stories. I know, for example, for one story, one of my friends, she brought up to me, I don't know what brought up this story, but she told me that her friend's name was Noah. And I was like, okay. She's like, yeah, the name in English means Noah. So I asked her, I said, there's a prophet named Noah. She's like, oh, I know who he is. Yeah, our prophet's named Noah. He has the really big boat, and he had a bunch of animals come on his boat when God was going to drown this whole town. And the same exact thing was in the Bible, and the same exact story I learned as a child growing up as a Christian. So that was eye-opening for me as one of the similarities. Then eventually I started to read the Quran for myself. It was about, a year and a half of me being in the college. So I was 19 and a half. And I wanted to read Quran, so that night, there was a night during Ramadan, it was an iftar during Ramadan. And I was at my friend's house, she's also a convert. And I asked her if I could borrow her Quran. I was really interested in reading it. Even that moment, I did not know that I wanted to convert. I did not have any idea that I wanted to convert until this moment. Nothing opened my eyes to converting. Just I was interested in the other cultures, the religion itself, but I just was not interested in converting myself. So I asked her if I could borrow her Quran. And she said yes, but she said she wanted it back because it was her first one, which I could totally understand. Eventually she did get it back, but she got it back about 6 months ago. I gave it back to her. So I was at a fellow convert's house, and she gave me her Quran, so I went home that night, and I decided to read. So I opened up the Quran, subhanAllah, and I just felt like this wave of fresh air just flew into my lungs, into my heart. And I started reading the Quran, and my heart just became so full of love. And I saw that God, He was guiding me to Islam. He said, it felt like He was saying, take shahada. You were confirmed, you were baptized. Take shahada. You've done everything in the other religions. Why not do everything in Islam? So I obviously didn't take shahada that night that I read Quran. It took me like 6 months. But it was during Ramadan. Just a few weeks ago during Ramadan, actually, my friend, I've told her several times why I converted, and the thing that really made me open my mind to Islam, and it was Quran. But she said, okay, that I know that you read Quran and made you convert, but when? When did you realize that you wanted to be Muslim? When did you actually read Quran? And I said, I read Quran, and I had to think. I stopped and think. So it was in Ramadan, subhanAllah. You know, Ramadan is the month of Quran, so coincidentally, I read it during that month, and subhanAllah, that's when I first felt that I wanted to be Muslim. So I didn't convert right away, obviously, because that was a huge step for me, being from a very conservative family, and I was really worried what my family and friends would say. It took me 6 months after I read Quran, and that moment I felt that night to take my shahada. Only a few people knew about it at the time. Even now, my family does not know I'm Muslim. It's crazy, right? I'm making these videos and they don't even know. They suspect it because I wear a scarf and I pray and I fast and I practice a religion. But I've never just straight up told them because I'm very scared and worried. I don't want to hurt them. I mean, I'm not going to go back, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. It's very, very emotional to tell your family that you're not the religion anymore, especially a religion your family hates because they don't know anything about it and they just think really bad things about it. So it's very hard for me to just tell them. So I'm sure these videos will make it clear to them now that I'm Muslim, and hopefully it'll be easy for them to handle. I just want to say, in addition to every time that I read the Quran and every time that I pray, it feels exactly like the first time, every single time that I read the Quran. SubhanAllah, it's a beautiful feeling, and it comforts me, and it makes me feel great, and it helps get rid of my anxiety. Well, thank you for listening.